Laborer brought before the court for Dwayne Taitt's murder. Commissioner of Police says severe crimes are down while reports of sexual assault are up compared to last year. Annette Ferguson to face cybercrime charges. In the region, Argentina breaches 100,000 COVID deaths amid deepening crisis, and internationally, South Africa vigilantes step in as rioters overwhelm police. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. The 45-year-old Raul Lamison, a laborer who resides in the Durban Backlands squatting area in Georgetown, was on Thursday arraigned before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan for the murder of 24-year-old Dwayne Daniel Taitt, an enforcement officer of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Lamison was not required to plead to the offense. The facts read that on Monday, July 12th, during the early morning hours, while Taitt and his family were asleep, they were awakened by the accused, who was banging on their apartment door with a piece of wood and shouting at them to move out. Taitt, his wife, and their child lived in an apartment owned by the accused's mother, and she wanted them to move out. As a result, Taitt opened the door and went out to meet the accused, who was armed with a knife. The enforcement officer ran out to the street opposite the said apartment, where the accused pursued and dealt him a stab to his chest. Taitt fell to the ground. The accused fled the scene with the weapon. Taitt was picked up by his reputed wife and a security guard and taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Lamison has been remanded to prison until August 12, 2021. Police Commissioner Nigel Hoppy today, at the Ghana Police Force Annual Award and Incentive Ceremony, warned about the corruption that exists in the police force. Esther Sobers has that report.
During the Ghana Police Force Annual Award and Incentive Ceremony, Police Commissioner Nigel Hoppy, during his feature address to law enforcement officers, spoke of the corruption still prevalent in the force, as 29 law enforcement officers are currently before the courts on different charges. Hoppy said, quote, "Yes, we have had deviants who have breached the police force code of conduct and standing orders. We are not going to be naive and bury our heads in the sand. We have members of the law enforcement community who are faced with allegations of rape, robbery, manslaughter, assault, and corruption, neglect of duty, but who were dealt with appropriately, having been either placed before the courts or on disciplinary charges accordingly. Presently, there are 29 ranks before the courts on various charges." End quote. The Ghana Police Force have been scrutinized by the public for its unprofessionalism by charging and arresting civilians. Hoppy further noted that despite those few and amidst oftentimes unmerited criticism, the Ghana Police Force continued to perform its role and responsibility credibly, coping and grasping with challenges and opportunities accordingly, and has been able to maintain a safe and secure environment within the country. End quote. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Continuing our coverage of the Ghana Police Force Award and Incentive Ceremony, the Commissioner of Police also stated that severe crimes are down while reports of sexual assaults are up from last year. Here again is Esther Sobers.
The Commissioner of Police Nigel Hoppy said today there has been an 18.7% decrease in crimes compared to the same period last year. He said, quote, "Robbery under arms has seen a decrease of 36.3%, while there has been a 16.7% decrease in the offense of murder, with 65 such incidents on to June this year compared to 78 for the same period last year. Overall, at the end of June this year, 7 women had been the victims of murder compared to 20 for the same period last year. Of the 7 victims, 6 were killed during domestic-related incidents, while of the 20 victims last year, 10 were due to domestic violence. He further stated that while there have been decreases in other serious crimes for the period January to June this year in comparison to the similar period last year, the offense of rape has seen an increase of 70%, with figures of 90 last year compared to 153 this year. In addition, some 112 fields, 89 acres of cannabis sativa, have been located and destroyed, and 34 illegal firearms recovered by the police so far this year: 17 pistols, 8 revolvers, and 9 shotguns. The acting top cop said a lot of good work has been done by the force in fighting crime. As he highlighted a few successes within the force, crimes were solved, which include the criminal group responsible for robbing customers leaving gold vendors, establishments were dismantled, GCOM arson suspects were arrested and charged, suspects in the Henry Cousins and Harris Singh murders were arrested and charged, the murder of taxi driver Kenrick Trim was solved, stall murderer Leon Waddle was apprehended in a chicken pen by detectives and later charged. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Opposition Member of Parliament Annette Ferguson is to face the court on the charge of using a computer system to humiliate a person. The legal advisor of the Ghana Police Force has recommended to the crime chief, Wendell Blanham, that the charge falls under the Cybercrime Act. The charge stemmed from a complaint by a senior officer in the Ghana Defense Force who claimed that Ferguson caused him embarrassment and humiliation by allegedly sharing a post from a blog to her page which accused him of being part of a killing squad. Ferguson has since denied the allegations. However, with the advice received, the Ghana Police Force has indicated that Ferguson will have to make her appearance soon. Don't go away after the break. APNU celebrates its 10th anniversary and some 6,000 marijuana plants were found on Burley's farm.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop Through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop Price Smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Are you looking for men's suits for that wedding, prom, or special party? Or maybe you need to update your wardrobe with a modern fit or a new color for work? Search no more, because John Lewis Styles is the perfect men's suit store. Come see us on Waterloo Street, and our friendly staff will help you choose the perfect size, color, and fit. Complement that suit with a stunning shirt and tie, matching bow tie and suspenders, cufflinks, or even a pair of shiny dress shoes. You will love the way you look. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Tastes so good. It's got to be made with Alabama Baker wheat flour. Produced from quality soft winter wheat and quality enzymes to give a superior product that's guaranteed to be luscious, delightful to taste, and stays fresher longer. Alabama Baker wheat flour is perfect for breads, roti, puri, pastries, chow mein, pastas, and many other delights. Imported and distributed by Alabama Trading. 6566 Robb Street, Borda, and 23 Lombard Street. Telephone 225-5800.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. As of July 13th, 4 more persons who tested positive for the novel coronavirus have died. This brings the total number of deaths from the pandemic to 503. The fatalities were a 91-year-old female, a 71-year-old female, a 54-year-old male, and a 34-year-old female. During today's COVID-19 update, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said children are still being hospitalized with the deadly virus.
We have 57 persons who are currently in hospital across the country. 42 of those persons are at the Ocean View facility. And of those 42, we have 11 who are in the ICU. And of the 11 persons currently in the ICU, we have 1 child that is there. And in the hospital per se, we have 4 children. But 1 child remains in the ICU. The 3 others are in the regular wards. We also have patients, 2 patients at West Demerara Hospital. We have 3 patients at the Maikoni Hospital, 5 at the New Amsterdam and Skeldon Hospital, and 2 in Linden. So we have 57 persons who we are managing in our various hospitals.
Minister Anthony said 49.5% of the adult population has received their first dose of the COVID vaccine, and some 25.8% of the adult population has been fully immunized. He is encouraging people to come forward and get vaccinated.
But once again, I want to appeal to people because we do have first dose Sputnik, and we have enough to give persons who want to receive the first dose Sputnik. We also have second dose Sputnik, but we're starting with those whose vaccination for second dose would become due, meaning that we're looking at persons who would have received their first dose Sputnik in April. I am very pleased with the uptake. A lot of people has come forward to get their vaccines, the second dose. But we also have first dose, and we are encouraging persons who have not been vaccinated as yet to come for those first doses. We are also using the Sinopharm vaccine, and again, we have both first and second dose available. And for AstraZeneca, we have given out to a number of persons their first dose AstraZeneca, and many of those persons are now becoming due for their second dose. So we encourage those persons to come and get their second dose AstraZeneca.
The ministry reminds all Guyanese to observe the protocols of COVID-19 emergency measures, which are in effect. This order emphasizes the need for a correct and consistent use of a face mask when leaving your home, the importance of maintaining a 6-foot physical distance, and the need for good hand hygiene to help reduce the spread of COVID-19. If anyone is displaying any of the symptoms associated with COVID-19 or needs any additional information, they can contact the COVID-19 hotline on 231-1166, or they can immediately visit the website at www.health.gov.gy. Approximately 6,000 marijuana plants were found on a farm in the Berbice River during a police raid. More from Esther Sobers.
On Wednesday, members of the Guyana Police Force carried out an intelligence-led operation at Bartica village upper Berbice River, which resulted in the discovery of a marijuana farm. According to a police report, during the search operation, the police found a plot of land measuring about an acre, planted with an estimated 6,000 marijuana plants ranging in height from 6 inches to 12 inches. A camp was also discovered nearby with 2 males. The men, a 53-year-old and a 24-year-old, who both hails from Berbice, were arrested. Further search unearthed 8 live gauge cartridges and 3 20-gauge empty shells. The suspected cannabis plants and camp were destroyed by fire. The suspects and other articles mentioned were taken to the Central Police Station, New Amsterdam, where the suspected cannabis was weighed in the presence of the suspects and amounted to 150 grams. The items were lodged to produce evidence against the suspects. Investigations continue. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. On Thursday, the Partnership for National Unity celebrated the 10th anniversary of its formation and arrival into the country's political landscape in 2011. Former President David Granger, addressing a virtual ceremony, described the birth of APNU as, quote, the most exceptional event on the political landscape in the past decade, end of quote. The Guyana Action Party, the Justice for All Party, the National Front Alliance, the People's National Congress Reform, and the Working People's Alliance were the partnership's founding 5 parties. According to Mr. Granger, the APNU struck a pact with the Guyanese people to work together to reunify the country's fragmented polity. He alluded to the APNU's initial manifesto for the 2011 general and regional elections, which promoted the concept of quote-unquote a good life. Mr. Granger stated that the APNU performed admirably during its decade in opposition from 2012 to 2015 and in office in a coalition with the AFC from 2015 to 2020. He expressed regret that the 2 partners, the Justice for All Party and the Working People's Alliance, had chosen to leave the partnership, but welcomed the Equal Rights and Justice Party and the Guyana National Builders movement to the partnership. Don't go away after the break. Argentina breaches 100,000 COVID deaths amid deepening crisis, and South Africa vigilantes step in as rioters overwhelm police. But before that, here is the bridge retraction schedule.
Problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
For decades, milk has remained the same. Until now. Introducing the Great Dairy Full Cream Milk from Alabama Trading. Enriched with vitamins A to D and calcium to promote healthy teeth, strong bones, and vitality. Great Dairy Milk is delicious and fortified to encourage healthy cell growth within the body. No wonder it's the #1 brand of milk produced in Ireland. Now available nationwide in 400-gram packages at leading supermarkets and wholesale vendors. Distributed by Alabama Trading.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop Through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop price smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Are you looking for men's suits for that wedding, prom, or special party? Or maybe you need to update your wardrobe with a modern fit or a new color for work? Search no more, because John Lewis Styles is the perfect men's suit store. Come see us on Waterloo Street. Different.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. A number of coronavirus deaths in Argentina has surpassed 100,000, making it the fifth Latin American country to exceed that figure. It recorded 640 new deaths in the past 24 hours alone. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports.
Sandra del Valle Pereira is trying to recover from the loss of her parents. They both died of COVID-19.
It is very hard. I've been left alone. My siblings live in different places. First my mother died and then my father. I don't know what to feel anymore about this terrible disease.
Argentina has reached the grim milestone of 100,000 COVID-19 deaths. It's one of the hardest hit nations in the region, even though daily average case numbers have fallen since the peak last month. So far, fewer than 10% of the country's 45 million people have been inoculated with 2 doses, but an increase in vaccination in the past month is raising hope the country will be able to control the pandemic.
Every life that has gone is a great regret for me. To those who have lost a loved one, you'll always find solidarity, love, and regret for what you have had to live. But I can guarantee you that the exit door is near. We're not going to stop in these months vaccinating each and every Argentine man and woman.
But it's also the associated economic crisis that has people here extremely concerned. Poverty rates and unemployment have soared amid COVID and the country's battle with chronic long-term economic difficulties.
It's not just the pandemic drowning us in this country. There's also the huge economic crisis. Many relatives call us crying, not only because of the death, but because they don't have the money to bury their loved ones. We have to act as psychologists to these people.
Argentina was one of the first countries in the region to impose strict lockdown measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And thanks to that, experts say the healthcare system survived.
Earlier this year, the government reimposed some of those strict lockdown measures in an attempt to control the virus variants. Many of those restrictions have now been suspended, but the government maintains controls at the border and at the airport, where only a few flights from overseas are allowed to land every day. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
And internationally, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has denied that he and colleagues give a green light to racists who abuse football players after the Euros. Following the finals, which saw England lost to Italy on penalties, several black players were targeted online. Now the government says it is planning new legislation to tackle the problem. Al Jazeera's Nadeem Baba reports.
A statement of solidarity. Protesters at a mural of England footballer Marcus Rashford in Manchester, which was defaced after Sunday's Euros final. Rashford's well known for his successful campaign for more free school meals during the pandemic. He and 2 other young black players received online racial abuse after failing to score penalties against Italy. That was at the heart of Wednesday's Prime Minister's questions, the Labour opposition accusing the government of using anti-racism as a political football.
The government has been trying to stoke a culture war, and they've realised they're on the wrong side. And now they hope that nobody's noticed. Why else would a Conservative MP boast that he's not watching his own team? Why else would another Conservative MP say that Marcus Rashford spends too much time playing politics when he's actually trying to feed children that the government won't?
Boris Johnson said he utterly condemned the abuse and would amend football banning orders. They're normally used to bar individuals who take part in, for example, racist chanting or hooliganism from attending matches. Now they'll cover online racism, while Johnson's put the tech giants on notice.
I made it absolutely clear to them that we will legislate to address this problem, Mr. Speaker, in the online harms bill, and unless they get hate and racism off their platforms, they will face fines amounting to 10% of their global revenues.
Johnson refused to say whether he was wrong not to condemn supporters who booed the England team before the tournament for taking the knee, an anti-discrimination gesture. Previously, he'd defended the fans' right to do so. And his Home Secretary went further at the start of the Euros, criticising the team taking the knee.
I just don't support, people participating in, that type of gesture politics to a certain extent.
So when Patel tweeted her disgust at the racist abuse after the final, England player Tyrone Mings was furious, writing, "You don't get to stoke the fire at the beginning of the tournament by labelling our anti-racism message as gesture politics and then pretend to be disgusted when the very thing we're campaigning against happens." Now, some Conservative politicians say the government's getting its messaging wrong and needs to reflect on how that impacts real-life racism. Now, this man, Raheem Sterling, is another England player who's been on the receiving end of racism, not just online, but at times from popular newspapers as well. He was included in the team of the tournament, a selection of the best performers at the Euros. His outstanding contribution and England making the final may have increased public support for the team's anti-racism tactics. But the real breakthrough could be when black players are listened to whatever they do or don't achieve on the pitch. Nadeem Barber, Al Jazeera, London.
And finally, a week after the arrest of former South African President Jacob Zuma triggered riots, community members and vigilantes have started working to protect properties and businesses from being looted. Al Jazeera's Katia Lopez-Hudayan reports.
It's the worst unrest South Africa has seen in years. In the city of Durban, shops have been looted and warehouses set on fire. Some of the area's wealthier residents have reportedly chartered planes or helicopters and left. But others, like OK, can't afford to leave. His car dealership in Johannesburg was destroyed, one of hundreds of businesses targeted by looters. Now he has no money to support his family or to pay his 16 employees.
My livelihood has been taken away from me in my eyes. I was sitting crying, helpless, because I can't do anything.
The vandalism is overwhelming for the shop owner. She was planning on retiring from her party supply store. Now she must start over.
Just explain to me why. I'm 55 years old. Retirement is here. I put everything into my business. Everything. I've got nothing. No pension money, nothing.
With police often outnumbered, some locals have created their own vigilante groups by stopping looters to protect their properties. Looting has hit supply chains across the country, disrupting transportation, services, and manufacturing. Food, medicine, and fuel supplies are running short. Amid fears of violence, these customers are not allowed into this market. They must buy their food through a window gap. What began as protests against the arrest of ex-President Jacob Zuma last week escalated to riots. With a 32% unemployment rate, the unrest is also magnifying South Africa's poverty and inequality 27 years after the end of apartheid.
I stole a few things like cold drinks and electrical appliances, as well as some paint. I guess the real reason is because we have nothing, and when you see other people stealing, at some point you realize that shops will close and you will be left with nothing. So you ask yourself, after all of this, how will I survive with the way things are?
As calls to end looting and violence go unheard, many fear the unrest may lead to unprecedented economic damage. Katia Lopez-Odoyan, Al Jazeera.
That is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. Tune in on Friday at 5:30 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, stay safe and take care.